Today on Peliculas with the Bros, we review the movie Confess Fletch starring Jon Hamm, and we have a couple questions that need to be answered, like, is Jon Hamm the greatest actor alive?
When will we get a good comedy movie?
All this and more will be answered today on Peliculas with the Bros.
Sup, bro?
And welcome everybody to the show. This is Peliculas with the Bros. My name is Adrian.
My name is Ivan.
And Peliculas with the Bros is a show where me and my brother Ivan discuss a movie. Every week we discuss a movie, a new movie. Ivan, what's the movie of the week?
Confess, Fletch.
All right, I will. But before we get into that, before we get into the movie of the week, just want to say thank you. Thank you for our new subscribers. We recently had an uptick of about 3 or 4 subscribers. And
3 or 400.
and we had an uptick of about I'd say 3x views. Sounds pretty good, right?
3 times 1.
3 times 1, baby, is 3. And we just want to say thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. This is Peliculas with the Bros, a show, a podcast where me and my brother Ivan discuss a movie. So if you like to listen to us, if you like to listen to two guys talk about movies every week, about a new movie, you came to the right place. Also, if you want to join in this fun gang, what's our gang called? The Bellies?
The Joyzy Boys.
The Joyzy Boys, Sloigles, Boygas. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that like button. Also, leave a comment. Let us know who you are, what your name is, what your address is, and we'll show up to your door. That's right. Me and Ivan will show up in a Joyzy Boyga slightest shirt, and we will personally congratulate you for becoming part of the fam.
And kill you.
No, we won't kill you, because if we kill you, we lose our revenue source, Ivan.
I can't promise I won't do something.
If you kill them, I'll kill you.
You can try.
That's how much our fan base means to us.
You would kill the show before you would kill a fan.
Yeah. Because once you kill the fan, you kill the show.
So it's like either way.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
So you better not do it because it's going to end either way.
I'll take that advice into consideration before I murder.
Okay. Well, there it is. And if you like that kind of banter between two brothers, hit that subscribe button. We post a show every week. So if you like what you hear, probably you don't, there it is. But Ivan, are you ready? Are you ready to put your favorite hat on and get ready to solve the mystery that is this week's movie of the week? What's the movie, Ivan?
Confess, Fletch.
Directed by Greg Mottola, written by Zev Barrow and Greg Mottola. The premise of this movie is Fletch, played by Jon Hamm. Oh, what's the ding, twinkle eyes?
Blink, blink,
Blink, blink, blink.
blink, blink, blink.
Starry eyes. Starry anime eyes, Jon Hamm. That was...
That's not...
All right. Fletch, played by Jon Hamm, a former journalist, wants to help his girlfriend, played by Lorenza Izzo, figure out who stole her family's treasured art, worth a lot of dinero. Unfortunately for him, he also becomes a suspect in a murder when a woman is found dead in his apartment. Can Fletch solve this 2-for-1 caper before he gets locked up in the clinker? Josie Boyga Slider Clinker! Why I oughta... With the cast of Jon Hamm as Erwin Fletcher, Roy Wood Jr. as Inspector Detective Monroe, Aiden Marie as Junior Detective Grizz, don't ask me, Lorenza Izzo as Angela, a.k.a. Andy, Fletcher's girlfriend, Kyle MacLachlan as Horan, Horan? Like, you're Horan. Got him. Annie Mamulo as Eve. What a name. Mamulo.
I like it.
Mamolo, sorry. Mamolo, yeah. Annie Mamulo as Eve. John Bellman as Owen. John Slattery. Come on, man. Give me that sweaty hand. John Slattery as Frank Jaff. Lucy Punch as Tatiana. Go ahead, Tatiana. Go ahead. And Marcia Gay Harden as the Countess. Ivan, don't laugh at the word gay. Ivan, the director of this movie is Greg Mottola. The Greg Mottola. I know we have been clamoring for him on this podcast, and we finally got him. He's the son of the legendary music producer Tommy Mottola. You might know him for marrying Mariah Carey, then divorcing Mariah Carey, and then marrying Thalia. I know you knew it. Greg Mottola, though, in all seriousness, let's subtract his father's legacy and really dissect this man's legacy as it is so far. The movies he's made and the TV shows he's been a part of. The Day Trippers, Undeclared, Arrested Development.
What? Okay.
As a director, though, not as a writer.
Never mind.
Superbad. He directed Superbad.
Really?
Yep. He directed and wrote Adventureland. He directed Paul. Then he was part of a movie called Clear History with your boy from HBO. What's that one old guy? Larry David.
Okay.
He made a movie with Jon Hamm called Keeping Up with the Joneses. Do you remember that movie?
Familiar.
Where it's a good-looking detective and a good-looking detective wife played by Gal Gadot, and then it's what's the guy from
Kevin Hart.
No, close. The white guy from Hangover.
Zach.
Galifianakis. We're horrible. And then he's been still making TV shows as a director. He was part of Dave, the FX show. And now we have Confess Fletch, Ivan. Just like reading through his filmography and just reading up about him, it sounds like he's just like a working director. For a guy to make
This is 9 to 5. It's not his passion.
I would say it is his passion, but I would say his skill set is probably not at the A level or B level. And it's crazy to, like, your reaction is pretty much sums it up. He made Superbad.
He didn't write it, that's for sure.
And I think it's something that you can you see in comedy movies, especially, where the director isn't really the prime source of like the genius of a piece of art. They're more like the executor of the work.
Yeah.
But yeah, he made Superbad. He made Adventureland, and I would say, for him to direct and write Adventureland, I would say that's his magnum opus.
I have no idea what Adventureland is.
It's with Jesse Eisenberg and the girl from Twilight,
That's
Kristen Stewart. Kristen Stewart.
Jesse Eisenland, just Kristen Stewart land.
I want to go to Kristen Stewart land and see all the Twilight movies and see Adventureland.
That's what you say when you win like a football game or something.
They're like, sir, that's very derogatory. I don't care. I want to go. Woo!
Go to Kristen land.
Yes, that is Adventureland.
I thought that was like a 7 out of 10. I didn't watch it, but that's what I heard.
It is like a 7-ish, 8-ish, but it's like decent, you know? And for someone to make that, you would think that they can replicate that again. But I think that's just like, this is all I got, baby. But it's still pretty good, you know?
Right.
So saying that, he is a working director. He's not an auteur. He's not even like what's the guy that made the last James Bond with the show? He made the show that you liked.
Sam something? Oh, Carrie.
Yeah. Fukunaga?
Yeah.
I would say Carrie's not even an auteur. He's just like the best director
Ever.
Yeah.
He's not an auteur. He's just the best.
He's just like the best executor ever, I would say.
Sure.
Like he's not a guy that's like, I have a vision for how things should be. He's like, no, give me the film and I'll give you the best quality product.
I feel like he hasn't had enough time to spread his wings though. Like he only had True Detective to like really do anything. Everything else has been like, here's James Bond. Here's, I think it was It he was going to do. But then
Beast of No Nation.
He did that?
He also did that show with, I'm just like saying the movies, but not the guys. He's the fat guy from Superbad, but he's not fat anymore. Jonah Hill and
War Dogs?
what?
No, not War Dogs.
No, the TV show on Netflix that was like trippy.
Oh, I know, with Emma Stone.
Yep.
Don't know.
Well, he made that show, and I guess what I'm saying is like he has had his chance.
He's got the chops.
He's got the chops, but what I'm saying is this guy Mottola, he's like a low grade Carrie, because like Carrie is like the highest form of what he is, which is an executor at the highest form. I think Mottola is more like, I have a style, but not really.
Right.
I'm more of a working director. And it's interesting because then we get this movie. I haven't decided to look at how the sausage was made, so what are we going to do?
What do you want? What do you want from me?
Let's just eat the sausage.
Nom, 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 nom.
How the sausage was made, or more so, how was this movie made? Well, Ivan, do you have any knowledge about Fletch?
I don't know if it's true. These are just rumors I've heard.
Uh-oh.
This is a little
Titillating?
unorthodox.
Oh, like the Jewish people? Like an Orthodox Jew? Oh, that's Orthodox Jew.
Jesus Christ.
Sorry, guys. Keep going.
Untold amount of racism I've just heard.
Is race... You can't be racist towards a religion.
Oh, okay. What was I saying?
Unorthodox
Oh,
Jewish people.
I wasn't saying anything.
Oh, I think that's... Okay, go ahead.
I saw there's an old movie called Fletch.
Yes, there is. You saw that movie?
No, I saw
Oh.
I looked this up and then I saw Fletch. I was like, okay. But I didn't do any more diving in that, so I'm assuming this is a remake.
A real deep dive, Ivan did.
Real deep dive.
A good old deep dive, Ivan.
Yeah.
Ivan put on his was it? He put on his
Snorkeling gear.
I want to say like subnautical. Yeah, is that it? Ivan put his nautical equipment on and he really did a deep dive on.
A deep dive.
Ivan's deep dive.
Come on!
hour. I want like a deep dive Ivan hour, but it's like 30 seconds.
Deep dive. It's all right. Deep dive.
Like I googled it. It's good.
Yeah.
Deep dive. Yes, it is. There is a movie and it's called Fletch, Ivan.
So my assumption was correct.
Your assumption is not an assumption if you Google it.
Well, I didn't look up, is this a remake of that?
Okay.
I just saw Fletch. I was like, well, logically, everything is remade these days.
Yes, it is. And Fletch was a movie made in 1985. They made a sequel in 1989 starring the Chevy Chase. It was a minor hit, so they remade it later on. It kind of like was a minor hit, and then it really gained steam in the VHS era, and then they're like, let's make a sequel. But it's based off a book. The original Fletch is based off a book with the same kind of comedic detective tone made by a guy named, I think I got it here, Gregory McDonald. Oh, yeah. But they've been trying to reboot this franchise for quite a while. A bunch of names attached to it. But finally, our boy Jon Hamm says, you know what? Let me put on a Laker hat and let's make this movie. And he calls up Greg Mottola. He's like, Greggy,
He produced this?
Greggy, my boy. Let's make Fletch. I wouldn't say he produced it. I think it's more so like they made a script, or he's like, Greg, make a script. I wanna be Fletch. I love Fletch growing up, which he said he did. Like he watched it a lot. I want to be Fletch. Make a script and I'll star in it, and then we'll pitch it to studios that way. And so they did. No one really wanted it, but they finally got someone to buy it.
Yeah.
And here we are. A little side note: Hamm and Mottola both gave some of their salary back to finish the film, to extend the days, because they only had 30 days to film this, but they originally had like 24, which is a pretty expedited recording process, filming process. But yeah, so they both really wanted to finish this movie. Ivan, before we talk about the movie, let's really talk about why we're here. Like why you are alive and why I'm alive.
Money.
Jon Hamm.
Oh.
But I guess it goes back to money if you really think about it, like advertising.
Yeah.
Jon Hamm. Can you give me, like, we're talking about Confess Fletch. Like, there's other movies out there. The one that we were gonna talk about, or we probably should have talked about, is The Woman King. But since we're low down dirty men, we're talking about Confess Fletch.
Mm-hmm.
But why are we really talking about Confess Fletch?
Mr. Jonathan Hamilton.
That's right. And move the mic a little, or scoot up a little bit. where the mic is resting on your lips, on your luscious, titillating lips. Oh, nostril flare. Oh,
Okay.
doing
let's go.
acrobatics with that thing. Jon Hamm. He really is one of probably like our favorite actor.
Not so fast.
He is.
Jeremy Strong is my favorite actor
Why?
because he's the best actor of all time.
He really has a face on him.
Yeah.
He has like I've been beat up numerous times,
Yeah.
and I might have drank a little bit before you saw me.
Yeah.
But we're talking about Jon Hamm here.
Yeah.
What's so good about Jon Hamm? Wait. Before you answer that, what's your relationship to Jon Hamm?
Come on. What is this?
I'm sorry, I gotta ask.
Mad Men.
Okay. People don't know.
They can assume by my looks,
Oh,
by
yeah.
how I carry myself. Like, oh, that's a scholar of Mad Men.
Yep. Mad Men.
Mad Men.
Yep. Like
Until
that.
you say it as an intellectual. Mad Men.
Yeah, if you are a first time viewer, Mad Men is a show where me and Ivan, or I shouldn't say that. It's a show where
You're doing the intro of the show.
Mad Men is a show that me and Ivan talk about on every show of Peliculas with the bros.
Every episode.
Without fail.
Yeah.
We've rewatched Mad Men at least 4 times and probably 10 times together overall.
A lot.
So we know a thing or two about Jon Hamm. And we love him. What would you do if Jon Hamm just like walked in right now?
I'd just talk to him like a human.
Literally just walked in.
I'd talk to him like a human. I'd
No,
be
you
like,
wouldn't.
Be like, have a seat. Let's chat.
You
Have my seat, Johnny.
John.
Have my seat, Johnny. And then I'd let him, and then I'd sit right there, crisscross applesauce.
No, you wouldn't.
Why not?
I think your first reaction would be like astonishment.
Well, yeah, I'd be like, Jon Hamm.
And the meat sweats. You would get the meat sweats.
Jon Hamm. Have my seat. Johnny Hamm.
Johnny. And what would be like the first couple questions you would ask him?
How
Would
are you?
Yes.
Like, how's life?
Okay.
Like, who's treating,
Small talk.
Who's treating you right in your life right now?
Oh, what a good question.
Yeah.
What's making you smile every day?
Yeah, and he's gonna be like, you, my best fan. I'll be like, come on, come on, Johnny.
Come on, Johnny.
Don't do that to me on live television.
What would be like your number, like small talk out of the way? You have one question that you need to be like, you need this to be answered. What would be the question?
I don't know. I don't really have questions. Like, would you have a question?
Mine would be like, in a perfect world, what would be like your legacy?
You'd be like, Madman, stupid, and then we both laugh at you. Like, let's get out of here, and then we leave.
Okay. Let's grab a beer, huh?
Let's go to the burger joint I found.
Oh no! And I like following you guys. I'm like outside looking at you guys.
Then I walk in, like, look who I brought. Like, who's that? We want to talk to you, Ivan. That's how it goes. That's my life.
Honestly, I would ask him something along the lines of like, what project do you really want to do? Like, get the bullshit out of the way. What do you want to do? And I want him to be like, well, I really want to do Law and Order. Like, I want him to be like so specific and so obscure too. Doesn't have to be Law and Order. It's just an example.
Yeah.
But imagine he's just like, I would love to remake. What?
Law and Order.
No, don't say the exact same thing I said. I would love to do
Fletch. Oh.
And that's the question, right?
Yeah.
What if this is his thing?
Eesh.
Ivan, what'd you think about Confess Fletch? Say it.
I'm figuring out the tone in my head.
Okay.
It's good.
Wow. For you first time listeners, Ivan's review for every movie it's good, but he just changes the inflection of his words to give you the review.
It's a beautiful spectrum of what I mean.
Okay, so now do it again. So now people know.
It's good.
Damn.
In the hand movement, that's like part of it.
Yeah.
Like you have to take everything in at once.
Yep. Even like the leg hairs, the positioning of them.
Like the palpitations of my heart.
Yep.
Like if you didn't notice that like is 0.005 of the whole score.
Jesus Christ. Come on, guys.
Yeah.
Are you guys scholars of Ivan yet or not?
Of Mad Men.
Mad Men. I think it's okay. It's an okay film. It's kind of like it's so weird just that this movie exists.
It feels like it should be on Netflix.
Yeah. And that's why it's even weirder that they actually released this in theaters.
Yeah.
And it made less than $1 million. This movie, Confess Fletch, is basically a detective comedy movie, right?
Yeah.
But it's so light. Like, it's airy. There's no... Even, like, the dramatic parts are not that dramatic.
No worries.
No worries. It's such a casual film. It's kind of infuriating how casual it is. I wrote here, it's like a parfait. Like some yogurt, a little bit of granola, some strawberries. It's just light. It has a tad of bit of humor. It has a tad bit of foul language. It has a tad bit of darkness, you know?
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't really say what it is. It doesn't decide on, like, we're a dark detective movie. We're a funny detective movie. We're a outlandish detective, you know? It's none of those. It's like just very in the middle. It's not straying away from...
I thought it was a comedy. Like I felt...
But it's not like a rip-roaring comedy. Like, it's not Adventureland. It's not Superbad.
Oh. Yeah, but that's... I mean, did you have anyone laugh in your theater?
Yeah. There's like...
There's a few, like... ha, ha,
Really?
stuff like that.
I just heard...
I laughed at them laughing. Like...
Yeah.
Like, that's funny.
Yep.
That they laughed.
Good laugh,
Good
sir.
for you.
But that's what I mean. Like, it's not like a... You're not laughing out loud.
It's not bold, I think, is what it is. Because it's a comedy, but I think because it doesn't really do anything wild, like, I'm thinking of Superbad. Like, they just say wild things in there, which is kind of normalized today.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, at the time, that was like, this movie hasn't really been made before. And they're being really crude.
Well, there's better comparisons because, like, so this is a detective movie, but with like a comedic tone throughout, right?
Mm-hmm.
The closest analogies I have here are Knives Out,
Mm-hmm.
Sherlock Holmes, The Nice Guys, which you saw recently, and I did too. I didn't tell you about it, but I saw it. Clue.
Yeah.
Only Murders in the Building, which is a new show on Hulu that's gaining a lot of popularity, and Death on the Nile. So these movies they're detectives, they're like mysteries, but there's also comedic tones over it. But like, I think the closest one out of all of these probably is like Knives Out, but Knives Out is so stylized and so like of a thing.
This has no voice. This has no like unique.
It does though. The unique thing about it is that it has no voice.
Ah, shut up with that.
No, for reals.
Get out of town with that.
No, I won't. I have to stay in San Diego because I have a wife and I have to go to work, Ivan.
Take her with you.
But I'm
Doing
actually
your job.
remote, so now.
Yeah, just take her with you. Leave.
Well, what town should I go to?
San Jose.
It's kind of expensive. Like, it's too close to San Francisco. San Quentin.
Yes. Go to prison.
Go to prison?
Yeah, San Quentin prison.
What crime did I commit?
Saying the truth.
The truth shall shat. Shall shat.
She shall seashell down by the seashore.
Hey, who? I think that's what I'm saying. Like, I refuse to say this movie has no style, because the style is just like,
But that's
it's like laid back on a chair chilling. That's the style.
But that's like because there's no like bravery in this in terms of like Superbad was the bravest movie I've ever seen in my life. Not really, but it's a brave movie.
So bold, but then he's like, actually, I'm a dumbass.
But it was Superbad was brave in that like thing it wasn't really made before. It showed teenagers being actual teenagers, etc. Whatever. This is like I feel like I've seen this before, and I'm pretty sure if I watched the first Fletch, I'd be like, oh, this is the exact same humor, because it felt like old humor, like all the jokes felt like just old. Like a Mel Brooks, I think Mel Brooks is better, but like if they remade a Mel Brooks style movie today, I would have been like, this is kind of old.
Because Mel Brooks is even more like stylized. Mel Brooks is more like, and that's what she gets. You know?
A little sexist.
It's kind of like very
but I would say even it's old.
It's very crass. This is more just like, hey, thanks for the Uber lift. Not really. That's like the humor in this movie, right?
Yeah.
And to me, that, I'm going to go full crazy on you. That's pretty bold. To make a movie that's just like.
But that's only if it was intentional. If he's like, ooh, I'm going to subvert this comedy world and then just make the least bold movie ever, and it's bold.
No, it's not about subversion, and it is intentional. It's intentional that like that it's not even caring how it has like no intentions to be dramatic at all. It's just like, I want to make a movie that you can just watch on a lazy Sunday.
But you could do that with Nice Guys.
You can watch it on a lazy Sunday, but you'd rather watch it on a fun Saturday night.
But this is like, I'm trying to think of the scenario for this, because I think it's even like worse than the lazy Sunday.
I have a good scenario for you.
Go.
There's I like to think of this as a dad movie.
Yeah, because it's old.
It's targeted towards older people, but it is like, honestly, I feel like I've seen this movie with dad at the movie theaters on like a weekday during school time, because like there's times we would go to the movie theaters and just like watch whatever was on, and most of the time it was horrible movies. Like I remember one time we watched a movie with Harrison Ford and something Barnett, Hollywood Homicide, and it's just like the most basic buddy comedy action movie.
This is a filler then.
It was a filler, yeah, and it just felt just like daddish to me, and I feel like that's what this movie is too. It's
nothing.
It's nothing, but being nothing is something.
I think it's something if you look at it like, wow, this is how I should never make a movie. You know? Like, I'll learn from this. Like,
but it's not that bad. It's not that bad. Like, it's not good, but it's not that bad.
I feel like I'd rather it be horrible than be just disgustingly mediocre.
Yes. That is your taste.
But like, look, if it's horrible, at least like this guy was so brave to like put his horribleness into a movie, and you could see like, oh, this is bad, but you can really see who this guy is. Like with mediocre, it's like you do not know anything about this guy because he was too scared to either do something great or do something horrible.
But what if that is him? What if he's just
nothing.
like? But yeah, some people are don't have
cogs.
What?
Some people are cogs.
Some people have something to say, but what they have to say is, "How was your day?"
Then they shouldn't make art. Boom. Boom.
That's Ivan's thesis.
I think no. Yes, but I think they should do a little more growth until they can be better. Like, how did you direct Superbad? Shouldn't you learn everything from that and then you do this? Like, this is a step down from Superbad.
Well, I don't think the intention is to make Superbad but in Fletch form. I think the intention is to carry the tone of the book, which ended up being the tone of the original movie, and just make a new story. I think where he fails is making funny scenes, like legitimate funny scenes in that world.
If it's a comedy, then that's his only job, and he failed completely.
No, because it's a detective comedy.
Shut up.
Ivan doesn't like it. Look, what? All that being said,
Hmm.
I think that this movie had to be way funnier. Like, it missed a lot.
I don't think it could have been funnier.
I think if they had someone who knows comedy writing it, it could have been way funnier. He doesn't know comedy. You don't have comedy writers on this movie. He wrote this with another writer who doesn't have too much as far as like hits comedic wise. What do you expect? You know, like it's only going to be as funny as the writers, and the actors can only do so much.
Then he deserves to fail.
Hey, I'm not arguing with or against that. There was a scene where I'm like, this movie's gonna get really good, like really funny, but it didn't go there. And it's when Fletch, he goes and talks to the wife of the guy suspected for murder, and he's pretending to be like a blogger, and he's like just like going with the flow, and it's like, yeah, what's this
I
style?
think that was the best part.
Yeah, it was really good.
Yeah.
And I think what I like about it is that he's like able to adapt. And I wish there was more scenarios like that where he had to act like someone else, you know, because he does have the capability, the range to do a lot, you know. Like we've seen him only in mostly in Mad Men, but I've seen him in like other things, and he can do like a myriad of things. But that leads to my next question: why is Ham not in more things? Like, why is he not? I would assume he would be like, not a leading man, but like he would be able to make good detective movies, or a good whatever movie. But you don't see him much. Why do you think he's not in more things?
I think he doesn't care because he has his legacy already like cemented, and maybe he's just like out there having fun, like doing his own thing. And maybe he just has like a bad agent who just doesn't find him the parts.
Put the mic down right here. Yeah. My question is, after that, is he blackballed in a way where people don't want to hire him because they're like, he's so iconic as Draper that we can't even cast him here because it doesn't feel right. Because I've heard stories like that.
I feel like we've moved, or the culture has moved past Mad Men.
Yeah, I think it's just moving past, because now we see him in like his biggest role ever in
Baby Driver?
No, but that's a good one too. Totally blanking. Top Gun Maverick.
Oh,
like that's his biggest, most notorious movie role ever.
I forgot he was in that.
And I think it shows a sign that people are willing to give him roles, you know?
Yeah.
And Baby Driver as well, which wasn't too long ago. But if you were... Let's do our usual thing, our Frosio Plumbing Services. If you were to guide Mr. Hamm to his next, like, IP or his next 10 years, where would you want to see the Haminator?
Retire.
So you just want Draper Legacy to be it, and that's it.
Yeah.
Why? Are you just being serious?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I just don't see him being able to do anything more. Like, let's say he gets like, I can't see him being anything else like the lows he hit in Mad Men. Like, no, like a handful of actors can have ever hit that. And like same with the highs or whatever. I guess the lows are the highs technically. And like if he does another one, like
Another what?
like a serious movie where he has to like cry or whatever. It just seems like you already did it.
So you have the weirdest ideologies. So you're basically saying DiCaprio, hang it up.
No, because I can't picture a moment of his career that I'm like, that's it. That's gonna be framed in the Gettysburg Address Museum or whatever for Leo. And I'm not saying he should actually retire. I'm just saying, like, if he retires now, I'll be like, okay.
But we're the plumbing services. We're trying to help him, and you're just coming up to him and say, retire. Next.
Maybe that's our part of our services. We give him the hard news.
I would give him the hard news if he had no talent. Like, if we were... That's what I think we did this for Lil Pump or Tekashi 6ix9ine. When we did the plumbing services for them, I told them, like, get out of rap and just be like, was it a WG? What are the people that sell on Channel 20? They sell, like, goods.
Yeah.
Like, just do that. But the Haminator, I can see him being, like, he can be, like, the best, just, like, supporting actor in all, like, your favorite movies. I can see him being, like, imagine Tarantino gets his hands on this dude. Imagine Sorkin, like, writes a role for him as just, like, the side character in one of his shows. Anything like that would be amazing.
Yeah, but, like, I would want that, but if he doesn't, I'd be happy because he already did his service to humanity.
Okay.
Like, if he does more, like, sure, aim for the stars. Like, I'm rooting for you. But if he's like, I'm just gonna have fun. Like, do you, buddy? You already did it. Like, you're good. Like, no pressure on them. But if Leo came in, I'm like, listen, you're doing this all wrong.
Is he doing it all wrong?
No, but I want him to have, like, I feel like he hasn't had, like, that legacy moment.
Wait, he was in freaking Wolf of Wall Street. He was in
Titanic.
Once Upon a Time. He was in. He has, like, hundreds of moments.
Yeah, but do you remember a scene in there where you're like, wow, wow?
I think the Once Upon a Time when he's, like, crying.
Or my head has been.
Yeah, that was, like, amazing.
Was it like?
But I don't think Hamm's performance as Draper, there's not, like, a scene where I'm like, now that's better than anything DiCaprio did. Like, put that up on a wall and call it a day, baby. Jersey Boy Slider, let's go. There's no way that it's even comparable. I think it's more so that you watched Hamm more than you watched DiCaprio.
What's the question?
The original question is, like, what's like an ideal Hamm scenario in the next 10 years? But now it's devolved into Hamm has a great moment that's in the Gettysburg Address of actors.
Listen,
DiCaprio does it. What?
This is the real hot take. I think he doesn't have enough talent to do as many things as you want him to do.
Correct.
What?
That's correct.
What do you mean? Then why
he doesn't have enough talent to do what DiCaprio does. That's why he should be like. That's why he needs us. He needs us to put him in a place where it's like, I need gigs, guys. Give me a gig.
But then I feel like he would only be able to play like every time I've seen him be serious, it's like the same flavor of serious.
That's why he needs us. Because, yes, that's all he can do.
Well, he needs an acting coach, then, not us.
No. Because that's some of the best supporting actors are like that. That's why you always hire the guy that played Golem to play. Yeah. Like, all right, Andy, your next film is Mowgli.
Like, if you tell him, like, look, this is what you're going to do. You're going to be the best supporting actor ever. He's like, supporting? What? That would hit him. That would hurt.
But that's like part of our job. Like, our job is like telling them the hard truth.
Shut the hell up.
You said that too. You're like,
I would rather not act, then
You would, but our boy Hammy wants to act, boy.
he would do whatever he wants. I don't think he's looking for like, look, my career's in the dump. I need.
It's a hypothetical Afrosio brother plumbing service. It's not like we're gonna show up to his doorstep in our uniforms, but we should, and we'll probably be arrested.
But I'm living in reality.
Are you?
So I'm assuming if he comes to us, that means he's like, first he should see a therapist, because I would be like, look, you don't need us. You have your legacy. Like anything else you want to do, this is just an ego thing. You just want to be famous more.
I thought you were saying if he comes to us, which no one should do, then you need therapy. Cause
no. Like we're like, if you need actual career help, like if he comes to us, like that's not a career issue. He needs therapy, because he's like, you get to the top already and you're like, okay, I want more. Like, what do you mean? You already
he's
have
not at the top.
He was at the top.
But now he's like, okay, just give me a career path. I don't have. I'm doing Fletch, for God's sakes. Like, give me something.
I would just say, do whatever you want, because like you have your legacy. Like you don't need to be something else.
But what if he's like, I don't know what I want. Give me a path, and maybe I can figure it out.
Do comedies. I would tell him to do comedies.
I like that.
But like good comedies, not like this.
But there's no good comedies. And I
do
think
a comedy show. He's the star. Reverse Mad Men.
What does reverse Mad Men mean?
Well, Mad Men's like the most dark, dramatic, non-funny. There's funny moments, but like on the other.
Jesus Christ on a cracker, Judy.
Yeah, but now we flip it. Like now it's a happy sitcom. Like, and he's the star.
1950s?
Sure, I don't care. But he would be good. He has comedy chops. Like he knows how to be funny. Like he knows how to like timing and everything. But he just needs like the script.
He needs a script.
But this was not it.
Let's answer your question at the top. Is when are we gonna get a good comedy? Is your question?
Yeah.
I think it's a great question, and it's something a lot of people have been clamoring for and asking. And I think what the answer is, we're probably not going to get one soon, but we will get one via comedians doing their own work on the side.
Podcasts.
This just reminded me too, like Louis C.K. just released a movie, and he did it with another comedian called Joe List, and he released it in theaters, but he also has it on his website. You could buy it for like $5 or $10. I hear it's funny. I hear it's good. But there's also like an up and coming movement where a lot of the comedians who also do podcasts are getting funded through Patreon, and they're probably gonna make their own independent films. And I'm excited for that, because honestly, I know you don't know anything about those comedians, but they're very funny, and they do things.
Are they pushing the boundaries?
Yes, that's what I was gonna say.
Tell me one. I'll deep dive. I'll learn everything about this man or woman, most likely man, and I'll see if this is true.
His name is. Dang, I forgot his name.
Must not be that good.
No, he is. He is, Ivan. He's actually the guy that got fired from SNL.
Pete Davidson?
No. Hell no. Hell no. He got fired from SNL before he was even on the show.
Too funny. That's what they said.
Because they found on one of his podcasts that he made fun of Asian people, like using names.
Okay.
Derogatory names. But he was trying to be funny.
Yes.
Give me a second, will you?
Yeah.
But spitball for the people.
Comedies. Let's deep dive. Let's deep dive into comedies. I think what we need is a Nathan For You type of comedian. I think he is truly pushing the boundaries. Nathan Fielder, I think is his name.
Shane Gillis.
Shane Gillis?
Yeah.
Let me see a picture of him.
He's like
Look, I'm a comedy buff.
you're buff, but you don't like and you like comedy.
Yes,
Put them together.
comedy buff. I'm very strict. That guy. He's ugly.
Perfect.
I'll look him up.
Honestly, I think he's very pushing the edge. He has but he doesn't do it like in a bad way. He's not like just doing it to do it. He has like intelligent thoughts that are hilarious, but they're also like broy. Don't act like you read the New Yorker. Only I read the New Yorker that you can order now for $12.99. Put in the code Peliculas with the Bros and you get a 10% discount. Shane Gillis, you say you're gonna do a deep dive.
Yeah.
So next podcast we're gonna have the Shane Gillis happy hour.
Yeah.
But wouldn't that be cool if if no, not that part. The fact that we get like independent films from comedians that are able to do these things and not have to like abide by like woke standards.
Sure, if they're good, but I don't trust them.
He also has like sketch.
Does he have a podcast?
He has a podcast
Oof, red flag.
and he has sketches that he does with his friend and they're really funny.
I have homework for you then.
'Kay.
There's a show on Netflix called I Think You Should Leave. I was
Okay.
gonna say I think you should leave, but it would have been too weird. It's like a sketch comedy show by an ex SNL, I think, writer. He's just a comedian and he had shows before, but his humor's super similar to Nathan Fielder, whereas like it's all acting in the show, but it's him, like it's people reacting to awkward situations.
Yes.
But it's like all written.
Yes.
So it's not like real people feeling the awkwardness. It's
'Kay.
all written awkwardness.
Uh-huh.
I think stuff like that. That's what's next. That's what's brave.
I mean, it's different. It's probably good,
Mm-hmm.
but there's also guys like this who are like they're legitimate like funny people and they can make funny scenes.
What's his name?
Shane Gillis.
Quick note.
And I'll watch
Shane Gillis.
I Think You Should Leave.
Whoa. It was a little quick.
Damn. Ivan, there's a sequel in the works for this movie. I know, it's crazy. But I think it's more so like, yeah, I'm writing it. I'm gonna pitch it, but
So it's not coming.
I don't think it's gonna come. Hamm and Slattery. What'd you think about their chemistry?
I don't know. Like I was like excited to see him, and then the movie was bad. So it's like, what are you doing? What's your? You need a therapist or what's going on?
I'll go contrary to that. I think they had good chemistry.
But yeah,
it wasn't that bad.
It was good, but like, it's just tainted. I can't watch Mad Men anymore after this.
Oh, come on. I think we should end this little part with pitch your Mad Men movie.
Why?
Because I think that's part of my plumbing service. It's like you need to be the executive producer for a Mad Men movie. You don't need to necessarily be in it. And I have some ideas for a Mad Men movie. So young Cooper, young Sterling.
Okay.
I would want to see a movie of like a day in their life.
Okay.
And then Peggy in the 80s, a movie where like she deals like with like, I don't know, like John Lennon dying at the ad place. And she's like older, dealing with like weird young 80 kids. And
Tubular.
no, yeah, it
Tubular.
would be Tubular. And then a current Mad Men.
Mm-hmm.
So like
Peggy's like 200 years old.
Peggy's 200. She's like Cooper.
Okay. Yeah.
She only shows up for a little bit, right?
Yeah.
And then people are on TikTok, advertising on. So out of those, young Sterling and young Cooper, Peggy in the 80s, or a current Mad Men movie, which one of these would you want to see?
I don't want to watch any of them.
If you had to pick, goddammit, we're doing a show.
It's only a movie?
Yes.
I guess Sterling Cooper.
Okay. How old do you want Cooper to be? In his 20s, 30s, or 40s?
When he first makes the business,
Okay.
whatever that is.
Yeah.
And then have a little baby Roger running around.
How old would he, if he's like 20, would that be like 1900s? Because he's in the 60s, he's 80-ish?
Yeah.
Wow.
I don't know.
He was born in the 1800s,
Yeah.
according to the show. That's amazing. New York Times review for this movie by Nicholas Rappold. If any of that elicits, this is a continuation. If any of that elicits a you might warm to Mottola's ambling brand of comedy, which also casts a faintly absurd light on the yacht-friendly Boston milieu. Yet a hapless clings to Hamm that tends to take the air out of the character's shenanigans, all of which makes one appreciate master practitioners of the unhurried detective genre like Peter Falk or James Gardner. But getting peeved at Mottola and Hamm's easygoing efforts would be like getting mad at a cat for sleeping too much.
My right.
What?
My right.
And it's your right, Ivan, to rate this movie. Out of 5 Picasso paintings or yacht boats,
2.5.
2.5. I give this movie a 3.25.
It was a 3, but this conversation lowered it.
Mine was a 3 too, but as I was thinking about it, I was like, it's actually a 3.25. Ivan, that's it for what's this movie? Confess Fletch.
Yeah.
Next week we're gonna be doing Avatar.
I really wish we watched The Woman King.
I watched it, so you don't have to wish too hard for you, little boy. So Avatar is good for next week, or you want to watch Don't Worry, Darling?
Avatar, come on.
All right, just checking. You're a weirdo. You're the one that picked this movie, by the way.
2 sexist choices in a row for us. Hey.
I know. It's like, want to watch Confess Fletch? Nah, Avatar, bro. Ivan, it's time for a section called
Things and such.
I went to SeaWorld.
Pig. Capitalist pig.
It was so enlightening. As a kid, SeaWorld was kind of like a fun, weird place. As an adult, SeaWorld seems like a dead world.
You know, I've never actually liked SeaWorld. Like, as a kid, I was like, okay.
I think I agree with you on that too.
Because, like, I didn't really care about animals. Like, I don't care about a fish, you know? Sometimes, like, the polar bear. I liked that wall where it was, like, a cold wall. Do you remember that? Like, blocks of ice on the wall and you could touch it and it wouldn't melt. Like, that was, like, the coolest part of SeaWorld.
What about the shows?
I didn't care. I was, like, it felt like, I guess I have to do this.
Yeah, you're right. That is good. The Walrus show was pretty funny back in the day.
I remember those, but even that's like, I don't know.
Well, anyways, I went and it felt like, oh my, like things needed like upgrading, and like certain areas were just dead, like no one was even there.
Yeah.
And it made me, I realized like how Disneyland is just like steroided out to the max.
They have scientists.
They did everything. Like, they merch everything.
Yeah.
They sell everything. They make you feel the right way. SeaWorld is just like, all right.
Give me money. You're here.
Yeah, it's so weird. Don't want to talk about it too much. But on that note, did you know there's a Columbia Pictures Aquaverse in Thailand?
What
Yep.
are you saying to me?
And they have a ride called Bad Boys for Life, and it's based off the movie Bad Boys, and it's go-karts. Isn't that the most horrible thing you've ever
I
heard?
don't know what you're talking about.
I know, it's crazy. Um, Knock at the Cabin, the new M. Night Shyamalan movie. There's a trailer released for it. Anything? It's interesting that he just keeps on making movies.
Horror?
Yes.
I don't know. I'll watch it. I don't really want to watch anything. Like I think I've watched all the movies I've ever needed to watch in my life.
You have a very like I watch it once. Like I watched a comedy film. It made me laugh. I don't need to laugh again.
Yeah.
You have that kind of attitude.
It's like it depends. Like I don't have to watch it for like at least another year. Like I feel like I could really take out all the meaning I need to watch out of like one watch, depending on the movie. Like I'll watch Dune again just because I felt like I didn't get everything I needed to get out of it.
Okay.
But I'm not gonna watch Confess Fletch. Maybe very ironically, just to like learn how not to do something.
I'm gonna show it to my kids.
You better.
Just to spite you.
I'm good with that.
Yeah. So Knock at the Cabin. Yeah, you're not. You don't seem too excited. Honestly, I wasn't too excited for the trailer. It didn't look too good.
I liked Old.
Old. Oh, I was like, old what? Yes, old was good.
Yeah.
Bardo, False Chronicles of a Handful of Truths. Alejandro Iñárritu. We've covered him on this podcast.
Jeez,
Go watch the
finally.
whole episodes. He's coming out with a movie. It's coming out on Netflix. I
Ah.
think a couple months. Have you seen the trailer?
No.
Do you know anything about this movie?
No.
It's kind of like a surrealistic movie. So
Like a 3,000 Years of Longing vibe.
even more. It's more on the Birdman.
I'm down. I'm not liking Netflix. I hope it comes out in theaters.
I don't think it will. Don't worry, darling. We said we were gonna watch it. I guess we're not gonna watch it, but it was embarrassing to watch Olivia Wilde go on Stephen Colbert because he was like, so let's clear this up type of thing,
Yeah.
and she's like, no, it's just a misunderstanding. I'm like, oh, this is so hideous.
And she only went on there to clear it up.
Yeah.
So it's like all planned.
Yep.
And it's like.
And he has his notes of what to ask and what not to ask.
Yeah.
And it's just so like, you can. That's the ugliest part of Hollywood right there.
Women.
Ivan.
It was set up. I had to say it.
Okay, good one. I like it. It's
Thank
funny.
you.
Lastly, on things and such, next Bond discussion was had in a Variety article. There's a article on Variety talking about the next Bond, and they're talking about the producers of Bond. We're talking about like who they're gonna pick, or who they should pick, and what they're looking for. And essentially, one of the key things that I took away was like, the person we pick, they need to be in it for the long haul. Like it's a 10 to 12 year commitment. And I'm like, damn, that's a wild thing to ask of someone.
It's like a new, like, it's their phase 1, you know?
Yeah.
But like this is phase 50
Yeah.
Bond.
I honestly don't really care who they pick. I just hope they go in like in a different direction as far as like the tone of the film.
I think they have to, just because like they killed this one because he was sexist and like he did unethical things with women.
He did?
It's like,
In the last one, he did something unethical?
no, I think this last movie he's like a normal guy.
Oh,
But,
gotcha.
like the first couple were like,
Come here, toots.
yeah, come here, sweet cheeks. Let me see those faces on you. You know?
Yeah.
So like they had to kill him. Like, look, we
What
killed
if-
sexism.
What if they go all in on sexism?
Just make him like the most despicable.
Would you be okay with that?
Yeah, I would.
Would
I
you?
would.
Like, seriously?
Yeah, should be like Adam Driver, just being like
Oh.
despicably sexist. Like grabs a woman, mwah, throws her away. Thanks, sweet cheeks. I'll come back later for another one.
If I want to. Jesus. Okay, that's it. Ivan, it's time for a section called What's on the Telly? House of the Dragon.
Crazy show. Funny show. I like it. It's good.
You caught up all the way?
Is there? I think so. Like the wedding was the last one, right?
Yes.
That was good.
Yes, it
I'm
was.
liking it.
Yeah, I like
It's
it too.
already dirty. Like I feel like gross watching it,
Yeah.
and that's when it's good.
Yeah.
That's when it's good.
Oh yeah, baby.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, it is good.
I don't think I'm gonna watch Lord of the Rings anymore.
Did you watch everything?
I watched like 2 episodes. Like I would only watch it so I could figure out what happens. But I don't care about like the dialogue. I don't care about the characters. I don't care about the setting. The only reason it has me is because I'm curious, like why things are happening.
Interesting.
So I'm like, do I really care about a show like that when there's shows I care about more that have things I want?
I have yet to watch any of it. I think I will watch it. Yeah, I will watch it, but I have a feeling that I won't like the first season, but the sexy season.
The sexy season.
Sexy season is going to be much better.
Also, part of me just doesn't want to like support Amazon, even though I have an Amazon Prime account.
Why?
I don't know. I just want to see them fail.
Interesting.
Like you want to see the big guy fail, you know?
I guess. Not really though.
Okay, just me.
Not with like TV shows. Industry last episode of second season. I can't say second correctly. I keep like trying to say
Sexy
seki.
Sexy season.
Sexy season. The last episode of the sexy season ended in boy was it a doozy. It was just like betrayal on betrayal on betrayal, and by the end you're just like, this person should just die now. Like there's no point of living
Main
in.
character?
What?
Main character?
Yes.
She's going to rise from the ashes and then she's going to prove them all wrong.
It is interesting to see like where she goes from here, and it leaves it kind of like, why, like, was the betrayal the best thing for her, or was it the worst thing for her? Which is a good setup.
I would watch it if they did like, oh, she's just going to come back as a better investor and then be richer than all of them. I would hate that. I would hope like, you know what? I'm going to be like an eco-terrorist and just like completely change the tone of the show. That would be crazy.
I mean, that would be more so like continuing on the tone of the show, because the show is really like savage,
but like savage towards like each other, not like the eco-terrorists would be like bombing forests or something.
Oh. I thought you meant eco-terrorist as like exposing like the bad things and like trying to cause as much financial harm to everything as possible.
That too. Like Mr. Robot,
Yes.
but with like the investing world.
Yeah.
They just have it turn, like I wanna cause harm.
Yeah.
I don't care who gets hurt.
And there's so many like intricacies. I need to rewatch the second season, but honestly, I think it's one of the better shows on TV. It's not the best, but damn, the last couple episodes were just like crazy. It was really good. I watched The Woman King. I think you would have liked it, but I think it's nothing too amazing.
Sexist.
My wife asked me, so what would you rate them? She knows like.
You're sexist.
She makes fun of me because she's like, what would you rate it? An 8.5. Like, boom. She doesn't like when I give the points,
Yeah.
the decimals, and
Yeah.
it's funny. She's like, just give me like a round number, and I'm like, okay, it's an 8. And she's like, an 8? What else do they need? It's like a 9 at least. And I'm like, well, it's very good. It's just
Actually,
like I've seen like it's a typical story. But what it does well.
mm-hmm.
She's like, oh my God.
I think that's why like the 5-star rating is a little better, because 4 stars sounds better than 8.10.
Right.
Because 4 is like basically a 9.
Right.
It's like one away from the top, but it's still technically an 8. Like
Yes.
good middle ground.
Yes. Yeah. Less to complain about.
Yeah.
I also watched the first episode of Andor.
Oh, is that the
Star
Rogue
Wars
One
show?
prequel?
Rogue One's prequel, huh? And it's better than Obi-Wan. I can tell you that for right now.
I already know how the story ends, so I'm not gonna watch it.
And also, the guy that wrote the Bourne series wrote this, and you can kind of feel it. The tone is very humanistic, which I like, and just so much better than Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan tried to dumb everything down. This one is just kind of guttural, and I like it.
Oh well, Mr. Chance to draw me in.
It's okay. And
Nathan, for you.
Nathan, for you.
Have you watched it?
No.
I can tell.
Your favorite show ever?
It's not just because it's it's tough. I think it's one of the most important shows ever. Not really, but you know what I mean. I live in exaggerations, my friend.
Yeah.
I think it's because there's episodes where I'm like, this is actually kind of insane, what they're doing.
Yes. Yeah. That's what the rehearsal felt like to me. But yes.
Have you seen any?
No.
There's one episode where his business model is to make a bar where you can smoke inside, which is illegal. So the loophole is that he classifies the bar as a play. So he invites 2 people to watch just people in a bar smoking. So they're just watching, and everyone's just talking, doing whatever. And they leave and that was good. I like that. And he's like, what the heck? And he talks to a real, not real, but a more established play person in the industry. They're like, yeah, there's something here. You could see this, and that.
But it was just a casual dialogue, non-rehearsed?
Non-rehearsed, just people. He got people from bars and there's a bar over here that lets you smoke inside. And from that's where he got the people. But he did that, and then he made he copied, since he recorded everything, he copied all the conversations everyone had, and then hired real actors to play this bar thing, and then did it again. But then the second time he did it, everyone's like, that sucked.
What?
So it's so what the heck is this?
But is it true? Did it really suck compared to the original?
It's tough.
Because maybe it's more natural and it made it more unique.
I think it's that. But it's it's so weird. Just it's a philosophical thing. The realness is more interesting, even though it's not even real. He did this for a TV show, as a joke, and it was good. And then he does it seriously, and then it's bad. You watch both, and you're like, I do kind of like the first one better. It's not that was good,
right?
Better,
right?
But it's just so insane, what he's doing, and it's he's just a business major doing this. What
do you mean?
He's well, the intro of the show, he's he graduated from a Canadian university and a business university.
But he's a comedian.
Not really.
I think he is.
Not,
he is.
First?
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's a comedian as as much as anyone who's, just because a comedian has a degree doesn't mean they're not a comedian first.
Well, I would have to research.
All right.
But
you quick Google search.
I would have to see what he did before this.
Okay.
Because the point of the show is to fix businesses, but in a comedic way. And he's playing a character, but it's not a complete. It's still him. It's just an amped up version of what he's usually who he is.
Right.
He's not DiCaprio, completely different when he goes home.
Right.
It's still glimmers of him. But it's just insane. I don't know.
I'm pretty sure It's definitely like he's not just a business guy.
Mm.
He didn't start the show like, oh, I'm a business guy and I want to see this. He's more like, I'm a comedian, and I think that's part of like his shtick is that like no one really knows much, and he plays up the fact that like, no, I'm just like,
I think it's like past being a comedian because he just lives this way.
it's a what's it called? Damn, a visual performance artist.
But even that's like, it's just another label like of what he is, and he's just doing what he wants to do, not like, oh, I had this idea, I'm gonna be a performance artist, I'm gonna pretend to do this, I'm gonna be this way. Like he doesn't have that kind of goal.
But how do you know that he's not doing it? He's still doing he's an entertainer.
Yeah,
I think that's
he's an
like
artist. He's an artist.
He is. But his intention is to entertain. Not it's partly like, yeah, he finds it interesting what happens, but that's also his form of entertainment. He knows it's going to be entertaining.
Yeah.
At least to some people.
Yeah. But
Yeah. The only thing I'm disagreeing is that he's more self-aware. I feel like he's more self-aware than you're giving him credit for.
I think I know he is self-aware. Like when he does this smoke bar,
Yes.
like I think there's moments where he's like surprised people fall for this.
Yep. And then he delves deeper into it.
Yeah, and then he's like, well, that was weird because it didn't work out. But he's just understanding how like he's just seeing like how art is kind of stupid in a way, because it's really just completely subjective, and then you could just do the same thing the exact same way and then people will receive it differently no matter what you do.
Yep. And are you gonna watch
Rehearsal after this? I'm almost done with this, but I heard the last episode of this show is like the most insanest show or episode ever.
That's what I heard about the rehearsal. There's like a show at the end, I think, and it's like just like the craziest thing, which is interesting to say.
And this type of comedy, I feel like, is the one that's breaking barriers.
Yeah, it's definitely something, because it's like a type of comedy that you laugh at what's happening, not so much as like they're not trying to make you laugh. It's like, oh, it's like just real life type of thing.
There was it killed me. Like, it was so funny, but so uncomfortable. Like, he hired, like, the same episode, he hired a girl to play the love interest of a guy, like a couple. And he didn't believe that the girl actually loved the guy, like, as an actress. So he got her to say, I love you to him, like Nathan, the actress, to himself.
Yes.
So he's like, she's like, I love you. And he's like, again. And for like 3 minutes, he's like, again, I love you. And she does it like little tiny differences. And it's so awkward, but she just keeps doing it. And then eventually he just starts crying. And it's like the most insane thing he's like, you could get someone to do.
But he's kind of like a psychopath in that way.
No, but he's like, it's because he does it. He knows what he's doing, but he also like, he cries.
But that's what I'm saying. It's kind of like a psychopath.
But it's just, he does it so for fun.
But he's crying for reals.
Yeah. But it's
like for him, it's kind of like.
But it's also not real. Like, he doesn't actually think that. He might just be crying because he's like laughing inside so hard or something. But it's just, it's insane.
I want to watch that scene.
You only have to watch that. Like,
yeah. That's the part.
Yeah.
Is it time for the
retired?
You quit?
Not quit. I'm just not gonna do it whenever. I was like getting like the last movie it was too much. Like I'm tired of black and white. I think it's more.
Tell what you're quitting first. No one's.
They know.
Say it.
The Marlon Brando happy hour
is
in
retiring
Yeah, it's on hiatus.
on hiatus. Maybe you should just like watch the good ones
Yeah, I was gonna say I might skip around, but
instead
I'm
of
also,
watching all 50.
I don't know. I don't know if I said this, but like apparently his last like 5 movies are like the worst movies ever.
His last 5 movies.
Like around like the last movies he's made,
That sounds about right.
and one of them like The Island of Dr. Moreau. Like he did a movie.
Johnny Depp.
I don't think it was with Johnny. I think it's a different one.
Hmm.
But he did that, and like there's a documentary about the making of the movie, and it's just about like how he was messing with everyone and didn't take anything seriously.
My man.
So I want to watch like that in the documentary. But it's a lot of movies. 37, I think it was. Tapped out at 5.
Yeah.
I'll watch more, but
One day.
yeah.
Right.
When the mood hits.
Well, we'll be waiting for you when that time comes.
Bling.
But until then, it's time for a section we like to call Really Be Bussin'.
Country is making the comeback. That is my prediction.
Go ahead.
No. I was wrong. That was
Oh.
a bold-faced lie. That I
Oh,
just said.
that's quick.
I don't know what's next.
It doesn't matter what's next because I have something I listened to and I liked it.
Okay.
Steve Lacy.
Okay.
I've been hearing his name and I've been avoiding it because I've been avoiding music. Listen to his album, his latest album. It's good. It's pretty good.
Pretty good.
It's like Frank Ocean, Miguel
Mm-hmm.
vibes, but simpler, I would say.
Stupider.
And it's good.
I want great. I want amazing. I want mind-blowing.
Well, we all know your high standards, and yeah, and I think this little rendezvous I've been doing with music, just like listening to more, is actually helpful because I think part of the thing is like once you stop listening, you start thinking that everything's dead.
Mm.
It's not dead. It's just you're out of it. I do have a question for you. What's going on with Ye?
Who?
Ye? Your boy Ye?
Oh. He's in his flop era, as the kids say. I don't know. Like, I see the news. I'm like, this is nothing news. Like, random Instagram rants, random Gap dropping out, but they still have his clothes or something. Like, and they're selling his music. It's like, I don't care.
Well, I think the most interesting part about him right now is that he did end his Gap partnership, whatever that means. And I think it's interesting because like he's kind of like failing every time. And he has this grand ambition of like making product that's cheap, making clothes that's cheap for everyone, but that's still good. And he has yet to complete that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he still has a long time to live, hopefully, but it's just interesting that like you ended your deal with like a major corporation.
Mm-hmm.
Like it must have been bad. And like he has the same kind of beef with Adidas. Like, when is it finally gonna work, or is it ever gonna work?
I think after this, people are just feeling like it's not worth it. Let's just not work with them, just because it's like such a headache to have to deal with this.
And I think another issue that might happen is like he's gonna lose relevancy.
Yeah.
Because his music is what makes him relevant. And I think his last album was like the least liked album and the least like talked about album. And if he doesn't come back and if he doesn't find a way to like attach himself to culture,
I think he needs to like cut off like everything. Like, I really hate his Donda Academy stuff, just because like I just don't trust him to make like this education system with like a basketball team. It just feels so like culty,
Hmm.
and he has those sphere houses. With
I love those houses, but yes.
I think he's just doing too much. And I mean, I think we said this, like stay in your lane sort of thing. I think he should just focus on like nailing clothing and then nailing music.
I was listening to like the playlist of the latest like hits for hip hop on Apple Music, and it was so like dark and gangster heavy. It's like Lil Durk, um,
I think
like all those kind of rappers. You know, they're all like the top hits right now.
it surprised me how, I mean, this is an old revelation, but how like there's a section of America that just listens to this music and we have like no contact with them.
Yeah,
Like they
that's
just
what it
love
is. Yep.
Little Dirk, that type of like gang banging stuff.
But I think the other odd thing to me too is that like there's 10-year-old and 12-year-old like white kids that love this kind of music.
Yeah.
And I think they like it's their soundtrack to like Fortnite. And it just like sounds good with that.
I think it's more that like they pick up, like they want to be part of a group, and then like they get into music, like, oh, I'm gonna be into rap. They see the top 5, Lil Durk, whatever this, and like, oh, time to conform, and then they just fill their playlist with that. I don't think it's like they don't have any attachment to these people. It just
And they don't have any like taste for it.
It's just like top 5. I'll listen to that because that's how I become friends with people. Wow. You know, but like the tastemakers who make them go up are all in like the East or whatever, just making them rise. And they don't have like a social media presence. They're not Fortniters like us. They just listen to music on the street corner, you know?
Mm-hmm.
This might be like the worst generalization.
Yeah, it is, but
there's truth to it.
I understand what you're saying.
There's truth to everything I say.
There is.
Even my lies.
Yep.
Even my bold-faced lies.
Your bloody-faced, no holds bar, godforsaken lies.
Truth to them.
And it also made me think like, what was it like when Drake was coming up? Like, who was like the top hits in 2015? And I guess it's like there's Future, Drake,
Kanye,
Kendrick, Kanye.
Macklemore.
I just feel like from 2010 to 2015, the music was a little lighter. Like it was more pop orientated hip hop, and now it's very gangster.
What does that mean? Let's analyze this. What does that mean for
Well, it's a reflection of society.
Which society? Not my society.
And I think it's also a reflection of like, I think, because I heard Roddy Ricch made like a song that sounds like Lil Durk, and I think they're just making music that they think people will like. They're not making music that they actually like.
But you said this. Adrian, you said this. Adrian, you said this. You said 2010, 2015 was more poppy. Isn't that what people like? Like them making things people like?
Yeah.
So Kanye, Kendrick, Macklemore,
J. Cole.
they are making music. They were making music that they thought people would like.
Mm-hmm.
Is that what you're saying? Is that what you're saying?
I'm
not trying to got you. I'm trying to like.
I'm saying now more than ever, people are making music that they think other people will like, and it might be because
I almost had you.
Analytics.
Oh,
because now they have like, how many exact plays does this have?
Look, there's a scene in Mad Men where it's
all
pretty
comes
early.
back.
It might not be that early. It was between dawn and then it was either like that first psychologist from the start of the show, like who's German. Do you remember her?
Yes.
And then there's the Faye, the love interest psychologist.
Yep.
I'm pretty sure it was with Faye, where she says like, it was with Faye when they were selling Pond's cold cream.
Yes.
And then they're like, she said, you got to attach this to matrimony. That's how it sells.
Mm-hmm.
And Don's like, you can't. This is the reference.
Yes.
You can't tell how people will act. You can't tell how people. You can't. You can't. Like, I'm just trying to perfect how he said it because he said it so well. But it was about.
You can't make people feel some way. You have to.
No. You can't predict how people are going to act before, like, without knowing what. Before sending it out. Because he wanted to link it to, like, a ritual. Like the ritual of putting on.
Yes.
And Faye said, like, they link it more to matrimony than a ritual. But Don's point was that you won't know how people will react to it until they see it. And they might see the ritual as even more of a seller than the matrimony aspect. So back to the analytics, they'll see like, oh, people want gangster rap. They want matrimony. Like,
yes.
But you can't predict how people will react to the new thing unless you do that new thing.
Right.
Which is Don's point. Like, the ritual is a new thing.
Mm-hmm.
Next music, you got to make it for yourself, not what people think, what you think people like. Because it doesn't last. Because that's what, like, that's just trend hopping. Like, purely. But if you make something for yourself, that's what's next.
Mm-hmm. But that's like Steve Lacy. He's on that track too.
Shut up about Steve Lacy.
He is.
Oh.
Like that's
trend hopping?
No, he's on, like, he's doing something completely himself.
Mm.
It's, you can't even say it's like R&B. That's how different it is. Like, you would say it's more like
funk.
Not even funk. It's like it's kind of alternative. Like,
I think everything's alternative now. Like, everything's like the singularity. Everything's just mishing and mashing together.
Yeah.
Like, everything's just gonna start being alternative. Like,
I think that's the way, though.
Alternative.
Or just like not anything.
Genreless.
Yeah.
I think it is the way.
Because I think honestly, the best album so far, one of the best albums so far this year is from Rosalia, where she's able to like blend everything together.
Well, that's what Kanye was doing like his whole life. Like, it's just a blend of everything.
Yep.
Well, it's kind of more whatever, but he blends it a lot. But I think with like internet age now that we have literally like all the information around us, like that's just gonna be like a super blender. So like these next coming artists, they will not be any genre artists. Like, it'll be.
But it's funny because like, I understand your point, and I think we saw that a lot in like the early 2010s, where like there was a lot of artists like that were kind of like melding different genres. I'm thinking like A$AP Rocky, specifically right now for some reason. But then I think now the issue is like, even though we have the internet and like the ability to listen to anything, we have analytics, which is kind of like the thing killing everything. That's telling the studio like, look at how much this gets on Fortnite compared to this.
Short term.
Yeah. But it's kind of, analytics is killing the, like, how you basically said earlier that it's killing the artisticness of things.
But I think it won't last forever. I think people will just get tired and say like, nobody's making what I want, I'm going to make it.
Yep.
And that's just how the next phase of everything's going to be.
Yep.
They're going to stop waiting for next Kanye and just
do it.
Just Nike it. Be the next Kanye. Or be the next themselves.
I made a top 5 hip hop artist of all time list in my head the other day.
Lay it on me.
In no particular order, I have Kanye.
Yes.
Jay-Z.
Yes.
Dr. Dre.
Yes.
Kendrick.
Yes.
It's 4.
Yes.
I forgot the other one.
Lil Durk.
Lil Durk. That's right. Lil Durk just sneaked in. There was a 5th one that I had before Dr. Dre.
Not like some old.
Oh, it was Notorious B.I.G.
There it is. Some old.
And it's like culture impact, lyrics, music,
Uniqueness.
discography,
Yeah.
uniqueness, flow. And I think that's the list. And I think like Drake is actually like
6.
he's 6. He was actually 5th, but like he's downgraded, and Kendrick just like took his spot.
I think Drake is like. Stop me if I'm wrong. Drake is
Stop.
like the analytics king, just because he feels like he really wants people to like him.
Yeah.
So he does everything, literally everything, patois.
Yeah. I can see that.
But he's so huge, so it's like it works for him. But I can't imagine it being healthy for him.
No, can't. Yeah, I'm starting to see the error in my Drake ways.
Oh, finally!
Yeah.
What do you rate Certified Lover Boy now?
Probably his best album ever.
There it is.
I think Jay-Z is probably the best hip hop artist of all time. 'Cause he's the blend of impact, culture, good music, lyrics, and just like sane. I can't give it to Kanye because like his lyrics aren't good enough, and then you know what I was thinking in the shower, I was like, so that's like the top 5 hip hop artists of all time. Who's the top 5 musical artists of all time? And I think probably like 2 or 3 have to go to like people born before 1900s, and then it's the Beatles,
Okay.
and then I don't know who's like the 5th one.
Michael Jackson.
I don't know. That's what I was thinking too. But as far as like musical innovation, cultural impact, I don't know if it's Michael Jackson, but it might be.
I don't think we were in his era enough.
Yeah.
What was it, like 90s to 2000? Is that his? What's his?
80s. Like 80s was his bag.
But he was like his whole life was his bag, wasn't it? Literally, like since he was a kid.
Yeah, that's true. But like his like Supernova was 80 to 91-ish.
Yeah. Okay.
Evan, any parting words for the beautiful people?
No.
Go watch Confess Fletch. Next week we're going to do Avatar 3D. Are you going to watch 3D? What's the point of going?
If it's available, I'll watch it, but I'm not going out of my way at all.
What a loser. We'll be back next week to talk about Avatar, maybe in 3D. Well, 3D for me. Evan is going to watch it 3D if it's possible.
Yep.
We'll see you next week. Peace out.
Bye.